Hi guys, today we are going to talk about types of machine learning. Before jumping to the types of machine learning, first understand what is labeled and unlabeled data. So, for unlabeled data, it consists of natural or human created artifacts that have not been tagged or classified. For example, photos, audio recordings, videos, news articles, and tweets, etc. So all these things are classified as unlabeled data. So these are the two examples of unlabeled data. In the first image, you can see there are few points, but we don't know what these points are resembling or what these points indicates. So this is one unlabeled data. The second image you can see here, it is again an unlabeled data. Now some of you may say that it is a cat. Yes, it is a cat, but the system doesn't understand that what it is. For system to understand, it should be given a class. So these two are examples of unlabeled data. Now let us see what is labeled data. Take a set of unlabeled data and augment each piece of that unlabeled data with some meaningful tag, label or a class that somehow makes it informative. This is what labeled data is. So in the previous example, we have two images. Now here you can see we have given some labels. We have given class to each columns here, which is giving some informative meaning to the data. Here you can see we have given a class to the image, that this image belongs to a cat category or cat class. So these are the examples for labeled data. Okay, now now we understood that what do you mean by labeled and unlabeled data, we can jump to the types of machine learning. Machine learning is categorized into four different subcategories, that is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. The supervised learning is further divided into regression methods and classification methods. For unsupervised learning, it is categorized into clustering methods. For semi-supervised learning, it can again be classified into clustering and classification. For reinforcement learning, classification and control. And there are few examples for each of the categories. Moving forward, we'll understand each of the subcategory and their definitions with examples. This is the first subcategory, which is supervised learning. So in supervised learning, the model gets trained on a labeled dataset. Labeled dataset is one of which will have both input and output parameters, as we have seen in the previous examples. In this type of learning, both target and feature variables are labeled. So I'll be talking about target and feature variables later in this video. Types of supervised learning. First is classification, identifying to which set of subcategories a new observation belongs. So this is classification means we identify that a new observation coming belongs to which category, and this classification works on discrete data. That means the data points are not continuous, they are discrete in nature. So what type of data we need for a classification? It is nothing but a set of data records, also called as examples, instances, or cases, described by. So it has two main things, as I was talking earlier, that it has features and target features or target variables. Features are nothing but the different columns which the dataset has, and a target feature, which means that each example is labeled with a predefined class. So what is our goal in classification methods? Our goal is to learn classification model from the dataset that can be used to predict the classes of new instances. So this is a classification example. In this image, we can see that these are the loan applications for various customers, and we have to see that the loan for them is approved or not. Here you can see different features. So age, has job, own house, and credit ratings are features for this data. And class here is our target variable or target feature. So for each entry, for each customer, there is a class. For example, the first customer, the age is young, has job false, own house is false, credit rating is fair. So it comes under the category no. That means the loan application is not approved for this particular customer. Likewise, there are multiple applications and the category where it belongs. Second method for supervised learning is regression. Regression analysis helps to understand how typical value of the dependent variable changes when any one of the independent variables varied. So regression works normally on the continuous data. So examples of regression are stock market analysis, where you predict how many units a customer will purchase. Another example is how long a patient lives given his medical conditions. So here you can see an image where we have a labeled data. So the features are year, month, interest rate, unemployment rate, and stock index price. So here we are predicting stock price index based on the given features, which I just mentioned. The thing here to note is the target feature, the stock index price, has a continuous value. So the predictive or the target variables has to be continuous in order to do a regression analysis. Here are some of the supervised learning algorithms which we can use: decision trees, random forest, bagging boosting algorithms, support vector machines, k nearest neighbor, navy based classification, etc. Next come is unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, the training of machine uses the information that is neither labeled or classified and allowing the algorithm to act on that information without any guidance. This type of machine learning is to group unsorted information according to data, similarities, patterns, and differences. This means the unsupervised learning doesn't need a labeled data. It works on unlabeled data. Types of unsupervised learning. First one is clustering. It is a task of dividing the population or data points into number of groups such that the data points in the same groups are more similar to other data points in the same group and dissimilar to the data points in other groups. It is basically a collection of objects on the basis of similarity and dissimilarity between them. Clustering generally works on unlabeled data. So clustering means we are making clusters or groups of similar data by using machine learning algorithms. So this is an example of clustering. Here we are using k-means clustering method of machine learning. In this image, you can see that there are various data points. These data points are divided into three groups based on their similarities. Second to come under unsupervised learning is association rule learning. So what does this mean? Association rule mining finds relationships among data items. This rule shows how frequently an item set occurs in a transaction. A typical example is market-based analysis. It is one of the key techniques used to show associations between items. It allows retailers to identify relationships between the items that people buy together frequently. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that if a person is going to purchase two different things, then what is the probability that he will buy a different thing as well? Now let us understand this with the given example. Here we have five different persons and the items they have purchased from the store. First person has purchased bread, milk, and beer. Second person has purchased bread, diaper, beer, eggs. Third one has purchased milk, diaper, beer, coke, and so on. From the given data, we draw relationship among the data items and we find that the person buying bread and milk will tend to buy beer or a diaper. So this is all about association rule and this is how it works. Now next subcategory under types of machine learning comes semi-supervised learning. So why we need semi-supervised learning? There are few disadvantages of supervised learning and unsupervised learning. To counter that, we came up with semi-supervised learning. The disadvantages of supervised learning is that the data need to be labeled and pre-processed by either data scientists, machine learning engineers, or the domain experts, which was very expensive process. And the disadvantages of unsupervised learning was that it has very limited applications. So to counter such problems, idea of semi-supervised learning was introduced. It has a combination of very large unlabeled data and small part of labeled data. Examples to semi-supervised learning are speech analysis that contains audio files and text analysis. Here on the right you can see an image which shows that how we can train our model in a semi-supervised learning method. First we take the labeled data. We train the model with the labeled data. Now with the trained model, we try to predict the labels for the unlabeled data, from which we get the pseudo-labeled data. Now once we get the pseudo-labeled data, we mix it up with the labeled data and retrain the model with the pseudo and labeled datasets together. The fourth subcategory is reinforcement learning. In reinforcement learning, the system or agent seek to learn optimal actions by trying to get maximum rewards. Agent learn from its experiences and after each step it observe its state and what rewards and punishment it has received. So what are the applications of reinforcement learning? It is used in game developments, in robotics, computer vision and NLP. Here you can see an example where you can see an agent. So the aim of this agent is to reach to this tree and it has to go through this maze. So with each step it has to find out whether it is getting a reward or a punishment. It can go through this way, it can go through this way, it can go through this way, or it can go through this way. So with each way, rewards are awarded to the agent and it tries to get the maximum reward. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos on machine learning and data science and see you in the next one.